Hi, I'm Pam Malcolm, Historic Site Manager at Staatsburg State Historic Site in Mills Memorial State Park, Taconic Region, and we're at Staatsburg here on the estate grounds, which is Mills Memorial State Park, a beautiful park right along the Hudson River in the Mid-Hudson Valley, just slightly south of Rhinebeck, New York, and a little bit north of Poughkeepsie, New York. Besides the beauty of the workplace here, one of the other things I love about working for New York State Parks and here at a New York State Historic Site is that I get to learn new things all the time. And I recently learned something I knew nothing about, which was cellophane bees. Recently, a doctoral candidate in entomology at Cornell University who happened to grow up here in the town of Staatsburg, where Mills State Park is located, contacted us to alert us to the presence of many nests, ground nests of cellophane bees. And she was very excited about these early spring pollinators and wanted to share with us, so we could share with you, some information about these insects. Cass Urban Mead was the person who contacted us about the presence of the bees, and these early spring bees make a very brief appearance in late March and early April, and I'm delighted that she would like to tell us all about them, so I'm going to let Cass take it away.
Hi, thanks for watching. I'm a graduate student at Cornell in the entomology department. I also grew up in Staatsburg and graduated from FDR in 2009. So I'm really excited to be talking about some bees at a state park that I knew and love. So the bee in the accompanying video is called a cellophane bee. What is a cellophane bee, you might ask? That's not a honeybee, that's not a bumblebee, that's not a carpenter bee. How many other kinds of bees are there? So in New York State, there's actually over 400 kinds of bees. A checklist that researchers right here at Cornell put together last year says there's 417 species of bees in New York State. Cellophane bees are just one of these. In the United States, there are 4,000 species of bees, and in the world, there are 20,000 species of bees. Most of them actually don't live in hives like the honeybee, and that's some really important background you're going to need to know in order to understand what the heck is going on in the video of these bees buzzing along across the ground. So behind me, you can see a honeybee hive. You can see hundreds and hundreds of bees buzzing in and out of the hive, and inside there's a complex social structure, right? There's a queen, there's all these worker bees. Solitary bee nests are very different from that. In fact, there's only one solitary adult bee who is in charge of each nest. So, in contrast to this buzzing hive behind me, a cellophane bee is one of the many solitary soil-dwelling bees who build nests in tunnels under the ground. You can see in the video that there are small soil humps where the soil has been pushed out of the nest by the bee as she dug her tunnel way down below the ground. At the end of the tunnel, there will be a little cell, a small circular area hollowed out or oval-shaped, where she'll pile a giant pile of pollen and lay one egg on it and then close it up. That's where a baby bee will develop and mature until next year. So in contrast to honeybees, I usually think of cellophane bees and the other solitary soil-dwelling bees as more like individual people, maybe people in social isolation, who are living in their apartments, all nearby one another, but actually having their own little lives. So what you're seeing in the video of the cellophane bees is actually lots of individual nests all next to each other, and those nests together make up the full aggregation. You may already have soil-dwelling bees, and the most important thing to do is just not to spray them with pesticides or to dig them up. The most likely place you'll find them is on a sandy soil slope, especially if it's facing the south, because that means it usually gets sun. One of the most important things you can do to protect wild bees is to plant some flowers free from any pesticide sprays. Really, the more structure and variety you can put in your garden, the more possible nest sites you're leaving. So if you leave a scrubby pile of brush in the back, don't worry, that's an awesome site for nests. There are other wild living solitary bees who will come out later in the summer. Some of these are called mining bees, is a very common one. Right now, these cellophane bees are one of the most abundant ones who you're likely to run into. Habitat loss is the major cause of decline for insects, so every little bit you do, we'll start to see these buzzing, complicated, vibrant creatures all around you, including at Mills.